beauties and bees, and welcome to the latest installment of SciFails. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and let's crack this right open. This one was sent to me, and I watched it. It's not as bad as the ones we've seen before. There are some things that uh, I'm gonna dig into here, so at least it gives us an excuse to dig into some stuff. But these are horrifying animals you should avoid at all costs. Let's find out what they are, peeps. Back it back up. There you go.
Nature sure is beautiful, huh? Well, mostly anyway. I'm an animal lover, but there are some beasties out there I really wouldn't
I'm
want to
digging
meet.
that background jam
Sometimes,
though.
however, we don't get much choice. From terrifying creatures that will
Oh, none of these things on the screen right now are terrifying. They're amazing, awesome. This is a good daddy right here. You stop it. Oh, y'all can't see. Hold on. I can fix that. Because y'all need to see. Because he's a good daddy. That's just a good daddy right there. Just a good daddy being being a good daddy. Excuse me. Took a couple of riffs while I was off camera there. That's a good daddy. Don't be talking smack about him. He's taking care of his babies.
make your skin crawl to monsters capable of tearing you limb from
Oh,
limb.
he's
Here are some
hungry. No, he's just a hungry boy. Give him some snacks. Oh.
horrifying animals you should avoid at all costs.
So I think this is supposed to be our narrator here, and the voice and the narrator are like incongruent to me. Like I cannot picture that man's voice coming out of this thing's face. Can you? Are you like? Are you guys feeling it? Is this masculine narrator coming out of this little circle with square arms and legs?
The Death Stalker. Nobody wants to get stung by a scorpion. It hurts,
Nobody.
but some pinchy boys will do a lot more than cause you a little pain. This is the deadliest scorpion in the world, aptly named the Death Stalker.
Why is it showing the Western Hemisphere right here when death stalkers are from like the Middle East and Egypt? Um, Kind of weird. Weird decision here. Aw, am I being too into my animals for you, Sumami? I used to have a good pet. They call them toe biters. The giant water bug, the guy that has eggs on the back on his back. I had one of those as a pet for like most of 2022. I had it here. It died here. They only live about a year and a half, but it died when I lived here, and I got it when I lived. Yeah, it lived with me in three different places. It was actually a really good pet. It was like having a little turtle. So a couple crickets in there, watch it swim around. You could actually hold it if you were careful. It crawled all over my hands. I have a video of it. If you want me to show that? I think I can find that at the end here. We'll see if we can share it. Would you guys like to see? It's like really early in my transition too, so y'all want to see what it looked like as an egg. Got 48 seconds in. I've been on like a 3 minute tangent, and I have to. Oh my gosh, I have a Thanksgiving this afternoon. Y'all should see my dress real quick. It's really cute. Oh, maybe you can't see it. Camera's not low enough. Hold on, and I gotta adjust. Ooh, oh, you can't. You're not gonna be able to see it. Dang it. But anyhow, oh, I got my camera aimed way too down. There we go. See, I shouldn't have messed with my camera. I wanted to show you guys my dress. I'll have pictures up later if y'all want to see it. It's cute. But you can't see my all my shoes down. It's embarrassing. I keep all my shoes underneath my desk. I'm weird. I have like a lot of shoes. I know I have a closet full of shoes too. I'm taking this girl thing seriously, y'all.
In case it wasn't obvious from that name, a sting from one can be deadly to the young, old, or weak. But don't get comfortable if that isn't you. Stings can still cause a whole host of other.
And you can tell the Death Stalker has a deadly sting by its tiny hands. Well, good rule of thumb. I mean, it's not perfect, but a good rule of thumb with scorpions is uh, the smaller the hands, the pincers, the bigger the sting, the telson, and the bigger the pincers, the less uh, powerful the sting. So that's a good rule of thumb to go by.
Other nasty effects, including nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Ew. Imagine being attacked by a whole swarm of these beasties. Well, for the southern province of Aswan in Egypt, this was a horrifying reality. In 2020,
That was John Candy about that steak, that giant steak in the great outdoors. He's like, no, I can't eat anymore. Just putting that out there. I actually covered this when it happened. This was one, again, back when my channel was really bug centric, when it was still called Brain Bug, and it was mostly about bugs. I covered this story pretty good. Now that was pre-transition me, so you're gonna have to go back and watch that yourself. I'm not gonna share that here, but it's still available on YouTube. I don't hide any of that stuff in my time because you can watch me grow on YouTube. In the future, when future generations look back and say, "Who was Bree?" There'll be a chronological record of who I am and what I've done. So,
2021, the region was bombarded with heavy rain, which forced hundreds of deathstalkers out of their dens to seek better shelter.
mhm.
Now, unfortunately, people were in the way. The army of deathstalkers descended on towns and cities, and a total of 503 people wound up stuck.
Let me see if I can find some easy royalty-free Deathstalker and Swarm. Swarms of scorpions. There we go. Let's drag this over here real quick. Check this out, guys. See, and this is why now I gotta drag this bigger. Womp. Let's see. Doing all my screen adjustments and stuff. There we go. Because I don't know if that sound is gonna be get me in trouble or not. I'm gonna mute it. But death stalkers are semi colonial organisms. They live in like pseudo swarms, uh, like sort of like cockroaches. They gather together in dark places, come out at night to hunt independently, but they live all together in these dark places during the heat of the day. And when it rains and all these dark places start flooding, well, they swarm up, and there you have it. Right? People are in the way. They're gonna get stung. Carry on.
Stung by the venomous villains. Whoa.
Why are
Thankfully,
they?
the
Ooh, do not call scorpions villains. Scorpions are amazing creatures, ancient creatures that have survived so much stuff in their same form. They haven't even had to change like us and our ancestors do. Yeah, my frog phase. Huh? Yes, my metamorphosis. I was a little tadpole with a beard. And then, yeah, here I am now looking like this. Look at me. Isn't that crazy? Could you imagine me with a beard and a beard and glasses, receding hairline?
local government was quick to react and they managed to apply anti venom to everybody.
Hey, Steph. Hey, Titan. Good to see everybody. I don't know if I forgot to say good morning to everybody today, but yeah, good morning, everybody. What a good turnout. You guys have been really active and engaging.
Phew, that could have been a whole load of blocked toilets or filled graves. The Black Death. Snakes are some of the most feared fauna in the world, and it doesn't help that they can pop up.
Overly feared, though. And I've been watching Arden's second channel with Epic Loot Exotics, where they unbox or unbox, they weigh and they have their snake collection and they bring them out and show them and weigh them, and they have their eggs and stuff that they show. If you like that sort of thing, you might like it over there. So that's been my snake indulgence here lately.
Anywhere from your car to your toilet bowl. But one homeowner in Durban, South Africa got the shock of their life when they found one of the most venomous snakes in the world curled up right inside their barbecue. This is a black mamba, a snake so deadly that without swift medical attention, its bite.
Oh, I'm muted. I coughed, I think, when it was going on. Thank you, sweeties. Yes, I don't know how long I've been muted. What I was talking about. Uh, I think you were saying something. I was saying something about black mambas. Yeah. So I was just what I was advising was, with any kind of snake, it's best to take, uh, all the precautions possible to make sure that you don't antagonize it. They can be snakes can absolutely be accidentally antagonized. They can absolutely be um, given a false sense of danger from a human. Sometimes it's not false though. Humans like to just chop into snakes when they see them, and they don't care. I had a beautiful 15-foot albino Burmese python. Holy crap, that's huge. That's a huge albino. Wow, as far as Burmese pythons go, that's really up there. How much did it weigh, if you don't mind me asking? Giant snakes are a thing I do on this channel. So I actually cover, excuse me again, I cover a lot of giant snake stuff on this segment here because there's a lot of claims about modern giant snakes and titanoboas. Don't use a wire brush on a venomous snake. I'm wondering if it didn't get in there to brush against that to help it shed because it looks like, see how white its color is. You see this? I know this is a cutout, but it's a real black mamba. How shiny and black they are generally. Now it could be covered with charcoal dust, but I think it may be also that it's about to chef off its skin. This wire brush would probably be great for that.
It's almost always end in the victim's demise. Luckily, our barbecuer was A-OK. He called a professional to safely remove the serpent who decided to capture this clip first. Man, to say they got off lightly is an understatement.
Especially how white its head is. I think it's about and when they are in this stage where they can't see, because the coverings on their eyes pop off, right? They're foggy and weird and no longer they're not clear anymore, and they shut that off. But when they're in the stage of right before that happens, they're extremely vulnerable and skittish because they can't see anything, and all they can do is they can sense light movement. That's about it, like seeing through a foggy window. Um, and then sorry, you started brushing your teeth. I've started brushing my teeth with a venomous snake. I hate when that happens. The sound should be working now, Mordecai. It was just a second that I was muted. Well, a few seconds. Not too bad this time. What I've done is I've popped out the volume thing separate because that's the only thing I can think to do. The only problem I have with that is anytime I click on the screen that has that stuff on it, it goes behind the main Streamlab. But I'd rather have be able to see the volume bouncing than anything right now. Uh, yeah. So yeah, how I had to give her up because she was too big. Did you give her to like a reptile place or something? Sounds like she was absolutely massive. And I love Burmese. They are very personable as far as snakes go.
Black mambas are supremely nervous, meaning if you so much as step in the wrong place, it could be lights out. The speedy snakes can dart towards you at 10 miles an hour, and after lunging, they'll bite multiple times.
Now they are incredibly fast. That's not even an exaggeration. They are as far as a thing with no legs goes. Damn, you're fast, that black mamba.
In a single attack. This is some serious overkill too, because just 2 drops of venom is enough to make a human pop their clogs. Jeez.
And these snakes, they do have powerful enough venom to kill an elephant. Is what the anecdote says. I don't know if there's actually any records of elephants killed by black mamba. Let's look. Black mamba, which was also yeah, can an elephant kill? No, that scientist. Here we go. Yeah, let's step away from that for just a second. I'm gonna pop right over here. This is wildnature.com, which you know, to it seems like they'd have reasonable information. This is fairly recent too. So I got some citations. It's from September this year. The venom of the black mamba is capable of killing an elephant. This venom is very toxic to humans and animals. Current research has shown that the poison is dangerous enough to kill an elephant. It only needs a few minutes to take effect and end the life of the large animal. However, the elephant is treated quickly, an antidote, it can be saved. As you might expect, see, it's always there's anecdotes about antidotes being given to elephants. I want to know about cases of elephants actually succumbing to the venom of the mamba. They do have few predators, snake eagles, mongoose, honey badger. Yeah. However, the greatest danger to elephants when it comes to snakes is king cobras. That'd be the Indian elephant, though, which is not where mambas live. Neither the anaconda nor particularly python has the strength to kill an elephant, so the one that stand a real chance against elephants are black mambas and king cobras. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine a constrictor wouldn't have uh, the girth to take down an elephant. Maybe an exceptionally large one that got around the elephant's neck by artificial means. Once it's on there, maybe it could. But I think the elephant could also very much crush the snake by rolling around on it to get it off. Yeah.
If I ever come across one of these demon snakes, I'm slithering away as fast as possible. Explosion on the beach.
Oh,
When I'm on vacation, I love looking for cool shells on the beach. One thing I can safely say I never want to see on my beach trips, though, is this. Cripes! What is that? Well, despite what it looks like, it's not a giant dinosaur. This is a sperm whale carcass that washed up in Western Cape, South Africa, back in 2018. Ah, the creature is literally dead then, right? Surely there's no need to be scared. Well, that's where you're wrong. See, as a beached whale decomposes, it produces gas and balloons
Oh
in
man,
size, turning it into an alien-looking mass like this.
this is yeah, this is all freaking true. I guess I'm gonna show you guys in a second about this.
And all that gas inside the whale will continue to build up until eventually the pressure becomes too much for the giant fleshy beach ball, and boom.
Yeah, don't approach a giant inflated whale carcass on a beach. You will
The
regret
thing
it.
explodes. If you're anywhere near it when it happens, the sheer force of the blast would do some serious damage. Never mind the smell. So,
Oh,
unless you fancy stinky whale flesh rocketing towards you at some unholy speed, stay well away.
remember when they blew up the whale on the beach with the dynamite and stuff? No, I wasn't going to show the whale with the dynamite. Do you want to see the whale with the dynamite? I can. Drop a link to it, Doc, if you have it. But I actually have, because whales aren't the only things that do this. Another animals closely related to whales, actually the whale's closest relative in the world, is is known for having this sort of reaction as well. And I think that I'm going to speed this up and mute it, and hopefully that's enough steps to. Oh my gosh! Oh, yeah, if you want to see the whale explode, though, I'll do that. I got a cough. All that giggling. Discord. Okay. Oh, do.
Sheer pandemonium. The loud blast launched the whale's massive right side 150 feet into the
We're
air.
getting sound
Whale
with
matter
me.
and sand erupted into the sky like an exploding volcano. Spectators on the dunes watched in awe as the mammal disintegrated. But humor quickly.
Hold on. I'll get it pulled up in just a second. Forgot I had to minimize this thing over here. So there we go. Do it that way. And we'll restart the exploding whale incident. Let me know if you guys can hear
Next
it.
was sheer pandemonium. The loud blast launched the whale's massive right side 150 feet into the air. Whale matter and sand. He warned the Highway Division that they needed fewer explosives to push the whale out to sea, or significantly more to obliterate it into tiny chewable whale nuggets. Despite his suggestions, the detonation proceeded as planned. What happened next was sheer pandemonium. The loud blast launched the whale's massive right side 150 feet into the air. Whale matter and sand erupted into the sky like an exploding volcano. Spectators on the dunes watched in awe as the mammal disintegrated. But humor quickly turned to panic when, instead of small bits, chunks of whale meat launched dangerously toward the spectators. Spectators shrieked and stampeded for cover as the monstrous slabs of seared flesh crashed around them. When the news crew realized they weren't far enough away, they also started running.
And this stuff starts hitting the ground. Boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden you realize, my God, I could be killed by whale blubber here.
You could,
Worst of
really?
all was the wretched stench of vaporized innards, heaving stomachs in its wake. Or as news crews put it, the smell was horrible, but when they blew the thing open, it was twice as horrible. Among the chaos,
Oh,
one
could you imagine the smell? Good grief.
casualty stood out. A car parked
Oh,
450 feet away was suddenly crushed under a lump of whale the size of a coffee table. Ironically, the brand new Oldsmobile belonged to the passerby who tried to warn the authorities. He could only watch in horror as his prized car.
what a bunch of bullshit. He's like, guys, no, don't do it. You're gonna fuck up. If this is gonna be this is a bad idea. You need more. The guy's like, there need more explosives to make to disintegrate this guy, or you need less just to roll it over. And they're like, nah, we're gonna use just this amount to blow giant chunks of it into the air. He's like, no, don't do it. Like, we're gonna do it. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna watch. Watch, I told you. And then it lands on his fucking car. Ah,
Car was reduced to
poor
scrap
dude.
metal.
It was a neat car. I just got it from Dunham's, and it was a Regency. And like I say, the funny thing about their slogan was a whale of a deal.
Within 2 days, the state of Oregon reimbursed the owner for the full retail value of his car. Amazingly, no one was injured. The aftermath
There would be retail value plus some emotional damages on my behalf. There'd be further litigation for some of the distress that this would have caused me.
called for further action. Thornton
Anyway, I'm getting distracted with the whale explosion. Got pretty awful though. Let's get back to our horrified animals.
Tarantula hawk. What? 3 words. Tarantula hawk wasp. If it sounds like something from your deepest nightmares, there's a good reason for that. It's part of the spider wasp family. Wasps so badass that they
Why? So, do not be afraid of a tarantula hawk if you see it, or a spider wasp of any kind. They want nothing, absolutely nothing to do with you at all. There's nothing in your life that they have any interest in, other than maybe sheltering in your windowsill or something. But they're really not interested in engaging with humans, even like compared to like hornets and stuff, which actually will go after like your drinks and your food and stuff. Tarantula hawk wasp, no interest at all. So you have no reason to fear these animals at all. You have to go out of your way to get them to sting you. They would rather flee from you. I thought when I was down in Arkansas a couple of summers ago, I followed one of these guys around. I think the videos are still up on my Instagram. I followed one of these guys around with my camera for like 15 minutes as it explored spider burrows looking for food, or looking for someplace to lay its eggs, I guess is a better way to put it.
kill tarantulas. Well, after paralyzing them with a venomous sting and laying an egg inside of them, of course. Ugh, what? Yeah, you heard that right. After the
And yes, this is where the aliens from the Alien movie franchise get their reproductive cycle inspiration
egg
from.
hatches, the larva emerges and eats the poor stunned spider alive. Yeesh, that's disgusting. And the creepy critters are super common too, living everywhere from the US all the way to Australia. So you never know when you might stumble across
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're not dangerous at all, though.
one. Australian Reddit user Space
You have to go out of your way to antagonize them in order to get them to sting you.
Monster came home from work one day to this skin-crawling sight. A tarantula hawk wasp dragging off a colossal huntsman spider. What a homely welcome. Thankfully, the hellish wasps aren't interested in making you their dinner and will sooner flee than attack, so Space Monster was okay. That being said, if one feels threatened, you could well find yourself at the business end of a stinger. And a sting from the tarantula hawk is agony. In fact, it's so intense
And Coyote Peterson way overplayed the tarantula hawk sting too.
that the only advice experts give is to lie down and scream. Man, the pain only lasts a few minutes, but you can guarantee it'll be the most agonizing few minutes of your life. Most people are so consumed by it that they lose control of their bodies, making them more likely to accidentally hurt themselves further. That's all bad enough. Just be glad you don't end up
What the hell did the tarantula hawk do to that guy? Holy shit, his clothes were all torn up and he was like stumbling around like he just got in a fist fight. Oh my gosh. Must have roughed him up a bit.
malicious mozzies. Everybody knows how irritating mosquitoes are. They never seem to buzz off. That said, surprisingly,
Those are not mosquitoes. Not mosquitoes that you're showing on the screen right now. Those look like
few
mayflies.
people are aware of just how deadly these disgusting creatures can be. Mozzies survive by drinking
Stop trying to make mossies happen. It's not going to happen.
their victim's blood using their long feeding tube or proboscis. As they do so, they also inject a tiny amount of their saliva, which stops
Which stops the blood clotting. Yeah. And then the saliva also causes
the blood from clotting, then numbs the pain of the bite. The saliva also causes the itchy red spots we all know so well. Grody. The scary part isn't the bite itself, though. No, that comes from the insect's ability to spread life-threatening diseases.
Like malaria, #1 killer of all humans throughout time. Yeah. Malaria is quite the biatch.
Whenever a skeeter drinks blood, say from a rat, it also absorbs any
A
disease-causing
mosquito do that a little bit.
microorganisms that may be inside its bloodstream. If that flying filth bag then feeds on a human, some of those
Did you
microorganisms
just
can
call it a flying filth bag? You know, most mosquitoes are not like biting people even. It's only the females that are about to lay eggs that bite people. But you call them flying filth bags. They're important to the food web, if anything.
pass to them. Ew. Malaria is the most infamous of these ailments, responsible for over 600,000 casualties in 2022 alone. Oh man, but that figure isn't so hard to understand when you see how voracious these things can be. Reddit user Monique2310 took her kids out swimming in a local river and got bit no less than 65 times. Thankfully, and perhaps astoundingly, it doesn't seem like she caught anything nasty. But the thought of all those mozzies inserting their little suckers into her
Stop trying to make mozzies happen. It's not going to happen.
skin? Ugh, that's one huge nope. Shame it's not socially acceptable to wear Jedi cloaks made from mosquito netting. You know what else isn't socially acceptable? Not being subscribed to the channel. So hit the like and subscribe buttons now, and you'll never miss out on
He's talking about my channel, by the way. So you gotta like and subscribe to my channel. This is very clear instructions. I don't know how you all are not getting this.
one of my amazing videos ever again. All done? Nice. Let's speak of some more horrid creatures.
Horrid.
Many-legged horror. This is a millipede. We like millipedes.
Aw.
Actually, guys who chow down on dead plants.
So cute. That's a
This is an
centipede.
Amazonian giant centipede. But these nasty carnivores can grow up to a stomach turning 12 inches long and
I
skulk
don't
through the
think
rainforest.
I don't think all these are Amazonian giant centipedes. That first one looked like a desert centipede, but my phone's ringing.
But these nasty carnivores can grow up to a stomach turning 12 inches long and skulk through the rainforest of South America, preying on everything from snakes to scorpions. The creepy crawlies are venomous and aggressive when threatened, and trust me when I say a nip for one of these things smarts. Centipedes will latch onto your skin with a horrifying pair of pincer-like appendages and inject painful venom into the resulting wound. You can look forward to swelling, bleeding, and a whole lot of itching and burning. No, and in rare cases, tissue death, a disgusting condition where your flesh literally
Necrosis.
rots away. Great. So to summarize, millipede good, centipede bad. Don't
No, both good. No, stop demonizing freaking arthropods. They're just animals doing their animal things.
get these two confused.
No.
The bear necessities. For people who aren't in the know, bears are cute buzzballs that you just want to hug. The reality, however, is very different. Something which one vacationer in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, found out the hard way.
Why you so cute? Oh, he coming. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, bears are terrifying. They're huge, powerful, and almost unstoppable. If you thought that last video was scary though, wait until you hear about Reddit user Donut Shops. He and 3 friends had decided to go camping in a secluded area near some woods in Yellowstone and had just set up for the night. But they had no idea they were near an elk carcass. That is, until a whole group of grizzly bears turned up to share the food. Holy mother F! Resisting the urge to panic, Donut and his pals quickly packed up and made a hasty exit. However, as they were retreating, something downright horrifying happened. A grizzly came charging out of the woods straight at them. Now it was panic time. Luckily, one of the group had brought bear spray and fired a hefty dose right at the rampaging animal, which made it turn on its heels. But the ordeal was far from over. One of the campers had cut themselves.
That would be freaking terrifying to be chased by freaking bears like that. Good grief.
While packing up the supplies, and the scent of the wound was attracting all the bears in the vicinity. The group spent an exhausting 8 hours fleeing the relentless beasts in the darkness while trying to find their way to safety. At one point, they made a fire from the books they brought with them and set light to dry sticks with it, throwing them at any bears that got too close. Incredibly, this worked long enough to see them through to the next morning and
Yeah, bears are afraid of fire. I'd have leaned heavy on some of that bear spray too. I'd have. They keep you through the night.
against all odds, everybody survived. Phew. So if you ever intend on camping out in bear territory, first of all, make sure you bring bear spray. Failing that, there are a couple of other things you can try if a bear attacks you. If it's a brown or grizzly bear, play dead. The bear won't perceive you as a threat and may leave you alone. If it's a black bear though, this won't work. Instead, you'll have to either run or fight, and neither is a great option.
As they say, the old saying is, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night. Because there's not much you can do. Which generally is a good rule of thumb is all right, but the laying down for the brown bears has been kind of debunked a bit. The more appropriate response that they get if they give for you is that to try to keep something in between you and the bear, because you are able to basically play Ring Around the Rosie with it consistently until it exhausts itself and leaves. I've used to do it with my dog around the kitchen table, so I know how it's done. Oh.
My advice, stay the hell out of bear territory, full stop. Colossal croc. The waters of our planet are full of horrifying monsters that are actually nothing to worry about. Take this wolffish, for example. Looks like something out of a horror movie, right? The spooky guy has some impressive teeth and is definitely capable of giving you a nasty bite if threatened. That said, though, they're actually rather placid, despite what some people claim. This particular wolffish also seems to have passed away, making it, super placid. On the other end of the watery spectrum, however, sits the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile and arguably the deadliest croc in the world. Salties can reach 20 feet in length and weigh a colossal
Did they just do
3,330
the
pounds,
New World
and
thing
arguably the
again?
deadliest croc in the world.
They're showing the Western Hemisphere for a saltwater crocodile, which lives way over the other side of the Pacific.
Salties can reach 20 feet in length and weigh a colossal 3,330 pounds. That's almost as long as a London bus and 3 times heavier than a grizzly bear. These reptilian monsters are highly aggressive and so territorial that they'll snack on humans if any are unlucky enough to wander nearby. And unlucky they'd certainly be. Saltwater crocs have the strongest bite of any animal. Bite force is measured by PSI, or pressure per square inch, and salties have an astounding crunch power of 3,700 PSI. That's 3,700 pounds of sheer force colliding with every inch of the bite area. What? For reference, lions bite with 1,000 psi and humans between 150 and 200 psi. Simply put, these titans can crush bones with ease. And they're
PSI isn't everything, though. They don't have since they're aquatic ambush predators. They don't have like sharp teeth. That's why they have to have high pressure, so they can drag large prey into the water. So having that high pressure bite allows them to keep a hold of whatever they've bitten onto. I've seen not salties, but Nile crocodiles, which are very comparable in size and in bite force. Like they'll hold on to an elephant's trunk. I've seen that in videos, which I would try to show to you, but freaking
There are
copyright.
plenty of times they've demonstrated this. Back in the Second World War, after the Battle of Ramree Island in 1945, 1,000 Japanese soldiers were forced to retreat through thick mangrove swamps. Only 20 made it out alive, and for decades it was believed that hordes of saltwater crocodiles.
We've talked about Ramree Island a couple of times. The attribution of deaths specifically to crocodiles is considered to be overblown. Though crocodiles would definitely have eaten dead soldiers and probably did kill quite a few soldiers. The percentage of these soldiers that got lost or they got stuck in the marshes is that were killed by crocs is considered to be overblown.
Had slaughtered them. Whoa. Can you imagine how horrendous that must have been? Admittedly, it's now believed the crocs were responsible for far less of the fallen soldiers than first thought, but I still wouldn't recommend traipsing through any mangrove swamps anytime soon. At least humans weren't about in the Cretaceous period, nearly 100 million years ago. Because crocs sure were, and as massive as the saltwater croc is today, its ancient ancestors were even bigger. Monsters such as the Deinosuchus were believed to have reached a gargantuan 39 feet, or half the length of a tennis court. Cripes, just imagine if one of those things were still around today. They used to eat
And Deinosuchus almost seems like it's almost on every episode of SciFails they bring up Deinosuchus. No matter what the topic is, Deinosuchus has to make an appearance. Uh, Here we are attacking a T-Rex, of course, because Deinosuchus not only has to make an appearance, but it has to eat a dinosaur, almost always. Even though Deinosuchus' diet of dinosaurs was probably not centered on theropods, any more than like a modern Nile crocodile's diet would be centered on lions. It's a weird presentation.
dinosaurs, so you and I wouldn't stand a chance. In fact, I don't think I'd stand a chance against anything we've seen so far. Damn, I really need to start working out again.
Maybe a
Hell
mosquito.
spiders. I'm gonna give you a rapid
Oh,
so quick heads up. The next story I have for you is probably the creepiest creature I've ever seen. Okay, you've been warned. Meet the camel spider. These hellish things can leap 6 feet in the air, issue a blood-curdling scream while running at 25 miles an hour, and will numb the flesh of their victims before eating them alive. Or at least that's what U.S. soldiers stationed in Iraq in the early 2000s told people. According to them, the camel spider got its name from its habit of attacking camels, eating their stomachs and laying its eggs inside of them. The soldiers even claimed that many of
no.
them had woken up to find they were covered.
And yeah, I think he's gonna acknowledge that this is all myth, but this was the bane of my early 2000s. Arguing with people about this. They claimed that the camel spiders were, as big around as a trash can lid. and that they screamed, that their venom would melt your flesh, that they chased people for miles, that they chased camels, that they killed large ungulates and laid eggs inside of them, that they would lay eggs inside of you if given a chance. And arguing with people that these these are not even spiders, they're just arachnids or anything like that. It was just my all day.
Covered in the things, and that they've been
Yeah.
stealthily eating them in the night. Ugh, what? Okay, I have a confession to make. You'll be relieved to know these claims are actually all baseless. The soldiers that relayed them were just spinning a long yarn for the people back home. Phew. So what are these horrid things really like? For
They're not
starters, they're only
horrid.
about 5 inches long, not the horrifying length they seem to be in this pic. The soldiers were just holding two attached to each other. Oh, and they aren't actually spiders at all. They fall into the broader arachnid family alongside other hellish monsters like the tailless whip scorpion. Strange beasts that are
Well, they're not close related to the tailless whip scorpion, though. Like a close related species. But I'm glad you're going to talk about ambly pigeons, though. They don't ever get enough love.
essentially harmless even if they look utterly dread-inducing. Seriously, this looks...
Ooh, Dr. Tapioca Weasel dropping the freaking memberships for 7 months. Oh no, not dropping memberships, announcing his memberships for 7 months. Did you upgrade? You did. You upgraded to. You got the mantis. You got the mantis symbol. And say it's silly. Bite force is measured in psi. The total force makes more sense. Or even torque, maybe for a crocodile, especially. They spin, right? They torque because small teeth means more psi, even for the same jaw. Yeah, I get you. Um, Arachnids have 8 legs, 2 pedipalps, which are like pseudo legs. They're kind of like the cross between legs and lips. They do take a lot of forms. In scorpions, they become pincers. And ambly pigeons, they become hooky things, like you see right here on the screen. And in solifuges, which are the camel spiders that we saw before, they just look exactly like legs. They're like pseudo legs.
horrifying, but it's really just shedding its exoskeleton. The hard outer shell can't grow with the scorpion itself, so the creature has to discard it several times throughout its life. While neither of these arachnids are lethal, though, camel spiders can deliver a painful bite if they feel the need to defend themselves.
Neither are venomous either.
So don't poke them, okay? Those pincers look nasty. Now, camel
Yeah, they
spiders
can
will
bite
chase
you.
down humans, but not to take a bite out of them. They sometimes follow people to stay in the cool shadow they cast over the desert. Get your own shade, creep, while they're unlikely to cause you any lasting harm.
Yeah, when I'm in the desert, I welcome all the camel spiders to see it in my shadow. You're all welcome in my shadow, little camel spiders, little solifugids. There's some adorable solifugids. Oh my gosh, let me show you an adorable solifugid. Yeah, we're gonna look at old cutie pie here. Do, 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 do. All right, here we go. And check out this cutie pie.
Hi guys, well before I rehouse my fluffy camel spider, just thought I'd show you just how big her jaws are, because she's trying to escape the enclosure and bite through the side of it.
Little puppy.
But yeah, camel spiders are famous for their huge chelicerae, and have got an incredibly powerful bite.
It looks like a little baby
Although she's
bird
very
mouth,
small,
kinda.
she could probably give me quite a nasty nip still.
Just a four-pronged baby
As you
bird
can see,
mouth
it's a
instead
pretty
of two
cute
pronged
looking
one.
camel spider, just because of the fluffy legs. Well, that's
So
actually the
fluffy.
pedipalps that are the most fluffy, and the lateral legs. But yeah, before we try and transfer her, I thought we may as well see if she's hungry and see if she wants to eat a cricket. Okay, so I picked one out. Let's see if she wants it.
Fluffy, fluffy, fluff. Don't be scared.
Oh, she's threatening it. I think she's a bit panicked by it.
Apparently, they do best in
Too
a
big
light,
for her.
like tight container like this, which I think is weird, but that is what it is. which is weird considering where they live. They live in like a wide open desert,
Okay,
right?
well, as soon as I turned the camera off, she actually decided to grab the cricket,
Of
and
course.
is now just tearing it to pieces, pretty much.
I think that's
So
the way
yeah,
it
they're
always
quite
goes.
aggressive feeders when they want to be, and it's only been a couple of seconds and the cricket's already completely destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll let her enjoy a meal, and probably about an hour's time, we shall transfer into the new enclosure. Okay, so she's finished a meal. Now it's time to transfer her into the new enclosure. A lot bigger,
Nice.
and with plenty of
Lots
cork bark hives in there.
of
So hopefully she will settle down nicely. Okay then guys, let's get her transferred. Okay, so I've just got her in there,
She starts
and
digging
she's
right
doing a
away.
little dig at the moment. Looks like she's found the area that's a bit damper. She might try and make a burrow in there. So yeah, as you can see, she's got plenty of space, and there's a big cork
I'm
bark
glad she's
hide over there
burrowing on the side though, where you can see her when she's
that
underground.
runs almost the length of the enclosure.
How far does she get
So
down?
I'm
I
sure
wonder.
she'll. And rather than using one of the hides, it's actually decided to build a burrow. So if we just look at the side of the enclosure,
There you
you
go.
can
Isn't it
see it.
wonderful when they build right along the side
And
like that?
looks like it's actually extending the burrow at the moment. So yeah, these camel spiders definitely a burrowing species, and the key seems to be to keep some of the sand slightly damp so they can build a burrow. But yeah, looks like it's settling in pretty nicely.
Trying to find its way down though.
See
I
how the
think it
back
needs
one's going.
deeper substrate. So my
Okay guys,
suggestion
and before I rehouse
for
Jace,
this
let's look
enclosure
at these
would
bloody camel
be
spiders.
it needs to be. I can't pause it without stuff popping up. Would be for this to be about twice as deep as what he has here, just to give the because it looks like it wants to live in a fossorial environment. So give it that, and it'll spend most of its time in this burrow. That goes with a lot of arachnids. I have this pet hole right here, another pet hole right there. This one does live in a hide, and that one makes its own tube net. So, you know, they need certain things in order to thrive. This guy needs a little bit more deeper substrate, but other than that, the enclosure looks good. The pork bark and stuff looks great. Anyway,
From them, they're still totally horrific and very much deserving of being left well alone. Is anybody else's skin getting itchy?
they're not horrific.
The toe
They're
biter.
cute
It's time to head
and floofy, and stop being mean to them.
back into the murky depths of the water. Yippee! Meet the giant water bug, a swimming, flying, terrifying insect. Given their
This was the one I was just talking about earlier. It's like just having a little pet turtle.
appearance, you'd be forgiven for mistaking a wild water bug for a leaf, until it leaps over and takes a bite out of you. That's right, this creepy-looking critter is also known as a toe biter, and not because it likes to cuddle. These watery woes are hyper-aggressive and happy to attack pretty much anything that gets too close, including humans.
And they have a good. They can fly, and yeah, they don't like to be fucked with. Mine, I let crawl in my hand, and it was fine, but it didn't want to be left alone, so I didn't like handle the lot or anything. But
And when a water bug has its prey secured, it has a super gruesome way of eating them. It bites down and injects enzymes through its proboscis, which decay the prey's innards. Then it slurps up the delicious broken down insides. Ew. What's worse, the victim is alive for some of this horrific ordeal. Don't worry though, this beastie can't dissolve your insides like that, but its bite is still searingly painful. So you'll want to stay away from toe biters at all costs. But if you see one that looks like this, run for the hills. It's a male bug, and that gross stuff on top of it is its eggs. In
it's not
some
gross.
species, the female lays her eggs on the male, who then carries them around. Other species lay their eggs on sticks in bodies of water, but in both cases, daddy will fiercely defend them. When entomologist
True.
Chris Goforth was gathering water bug eggs for her PhD in the 2000s, she experienced their intense protectiveness firsthand. Goforth was in a pond in Arizona collecting eggs from sticks when their defensive dad made a beeline up the stick Chris was holding. She whacked him off, but even after falling into the water,
She whacked him off. I'm such a child. But, yeah.
he didn't give up. She had to find out the
They get about 2 inches, that long, about as long as the tube of lipstick, maybe a little bit longer. They're bulky is their main thing, so they're about half the width that they are long. So
insect no
it's a
less than
lot
4
bigger.
times, and once it even managed to sneak onto her neck. Yeesh. Thankfully, Chris noticed it in time and swatted it off in a blind panic before it could bite her, then ran out of the pond. Jeepers, some say she's still running away to this day. I know I would be. Cruel.
They can't. So they can't. They can't. They'd be less short of having a terrible allergic reaction, which can happen from any animal biting you. The giant water bugs are not gonna be deadly to
Cruel
humans.
cobras. I hate snakes, and I really hate big ones that are capable of shooting venom at me. So giant spitting cobras are pretty much my worst nightmare. At nearly 9 feet long, they're the largest species of venom-spitting cobra on Earth. Science folk believe the huge danger noodles evolved their alarming ability to defend themselves from our early ancestors a few million years ago. So, in a way, it's all our fault. The snakes shoot their shot directly at the eyes of their enemies, savagely burning them and causing blindness if left untreated.
Just like the Dilophosaurus, right? Yeah, maybe they evolved directly from the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park. But yeah, spitting cobras. They have. I've seen these in person at the St. Louis Zoo. They're pretty massive, and actually there was a mess on the glass from them spitting at the
They can
visitors.
fire from many feet away, but that doesn't stop them going in close for a juicy bite either. If this big old boy does decide to bite its venom into your system, it'll rapidly cause the tissue around the bite to die, leading to disfigurement and potentially much worse. Despite this, snake charmers around the world absolutely love to use cobras in their routines. Enough accidents occur with non-spitting cobras. Imagine how much worse things could get if they used one of these guys. I wouldn't put it past that crazy bunch either. One such charmer met his untimely demise back in 2018 after being bitten by a spitting cobra he was trying to capture in Malaysia. The venom took just 4 days to take full hold, and once it had, there was tragically no more that could be done.
Thing about snake charmers, maybe we should cover this at some point in Cryptic Corner, is that snakes aren't actually following the music or hypnotized by the music. They're following the flute, which as long as they keep it moving, the snake won't strike because it can't zero in on it. It can't lock in on where it wants to strike at. So it rears up in an aggressive, defensive manner, but it doesn't know how to strike because you keep bobbing and weaving. Just the same way that a mongoose or a cat can outflank a snake and just a cobra not only destroy it. Like a house cat, there's no problems taking down a 6-foot cobra.
Man, that's another animal I'm taking firmly off my must-cuddle list.
So beautiful, though.
Deadly dragons. Rinca Island in Indonesia is famed for being chock full of huge Komodo dragons. Usually, though, they stay outside the buildings. Back in 2009, a tour guide named Mayan entered his office on the island and took a seat at his desk. When he glanced down, however, a cold sweat ran down his brow. Curled beside his legs was a colossal Komodo. These beasts are the largest lizards in the world, able to reach a seriously intimidating 10 feet in length. They're
Look
strong,
at that
vicious, and
beefcake.
very venomous. As well as being incredibly painful, a single bite from a dragon can paralyze you and cause rapid, debilitating blood loss. From there, they'd simply wait for you to collapse before chowing down. Truly unsettling, right?
And they uh, mob feed on you. They mob attack you. So they're not like a pack, but they do like attack in a group. Crocodile could do the same thing. It's horrifying. Can't imagine seeing a mob of Komodo dragons coming at me.
While Komodos are also capable of swallowing large animals like deer whole. Yep, if something looks a little big for them, they won't bother chewing it up into smaller chunks. Oh no, they're far more likely to spend 20 minutes forcing the paralyzed animal down their throat by slamming it against a tree. Oh man. Essentially, you really wouldn't want one underneath your desk. Wait, what happened to oh man then? Well, horrified, he pulled his legs back from the beast, but one of them caught on something and the dragon lunged, chomping down on it. The tour guide screamed for help and managed to kick the giant lizard off of him as his colleagues arrived. But the smell of his blood had attracted a horde of other nearby Komodos. Seriously? His co-workers frantically rushed him out of the building and raced across the island, dodging and running from the frenzied Komodo dragons as they went. Miraculously, they made it to the dock and leapt onto a boat without any further injuries. Then they took Man to a nearby hospital where he got the treatment he needed. It still took around 6 months for him to fully recover from his harrowing ordeal, though. Jeez, Komodo? More like Komo-no? Oh jeez, oh why? Buzzkills. Everyone's tired of hearing about 2020's COVID-19 outbreak by now. But there was another big news story that year that still gives me the shivers. The discovery of northern giant hornets, once known as murder hornets, in Washington state in the U.S. The huge bugs are thought to have come to the states by ship, and they're supremely dangerous. Compared to honeybees, the hornets can deliver a devastating 28 times more venom in a single sting. So if you get stung by a whole swarm of these guys, well, you can wave bye-bye to tomorrow. Understandably, Americans were pretty darn panicked then to find out the vicious vespids were on home ground. American actress Rose McGowan got stung in 2021 and suffered from immense pain, numbness, a rapid heart rate, and even fuzzy vision. Thankfully, she was fine in the end. It's actually very rare for
Am I muted again? Of course I am. I had to cough. Uh, yeah. Sounds like she had a bad allergic reaction, maybe, to it.
sting to cause anything other than temporary symptoms unless you're allergic. What's more, multiple nests had been found and destroyed by the end of 2021, and there were no new sightings in Washington across the whole of 2022. So the U.S. might just have dodged a bullet there. If you do
I think that, you know, you don't really have to worry about these unless you're a honeybee, and that's the reason they're called murder hornets, because they murder honeybee hives. They go and just mass execute them and eat the bees, eat the larvae, eat the honey. So that's what the threat of the northern Asian hornet is, or I guess they just call it the northern hornet now. But that's the real threat that it causes is to agriculture, not the actual people. You're not in danger of these animals getting you. I mean, yeah, things happen, but things happen. They're not out to get you.
wind up coming across one of the insidious insects, though, keep well away. Terrifying tapeworms. Of all the horrible beasts that we've discussed so far, there's at least one small solace you can take. They don't squirm around inside your body, unlike tapeworms. Tapeworms are horrid little things that can be contracted by eating undercooked meats. If a cow eats grass with tapeworm eggs on it, they'll hatch in its intestines as larvae before moving through the bloodstream to the muscles. There they form hardy cysts. These cysts are killed by cooking the infected meat thoroughly, but if you eat infected beef without cooking it properly, well, you'll get infected. After being ingested, the cyst will develop into a fully fledged tapeworm and live.
It's like people you talk about how they like their meat like rare, like homie. Um, just know the risks you take by eating your food that way.
Inside your intestines, feeding on nutrients that should be going to your body. Oh, that's beyond disturbing. It could be much more upsetting, though. In the UK back in 2012, a man was admitted to hospital after suffering from 4 years of headaches. On top of a painful cranium, he'd also been experiencing strange smells, memory flashbacks, and even seizures. So what was wrong with him? Well, doctors found out a rare ribbon-shaped tapeworm had made its way into his brain. Yuck. It's believed that whilst on a trip to China, the man probably ingested some infected meat, but rather than stay in his gut, the worm had somehow furrowed all the way.
I'm guessing it was probably a seafood, though. Wouldn't think that this was from beef. Ribbon worm. I'm thinking he probably had seafood in Japan.
To his brain. Understandably, this caused some rather wild symptoms. The invasive houseguest was eventually removed, but the man apparently still suffers residual problems. Ugh.
Oh yeah, once one of them burrows into your brain, I'm sure that there's permanent permanent issues moving forward.
That'd be a lesson to always cook your food, people. Funnel web fear. Ah, Australia. The most
That
beautiful
was
place on
not
earth.
the funnel web to fear. That was the friendly little funnel web that's not related to these funnel webs at all.
That I never want to visit. Partly because it's home to some of the most venomous, aggressive spiders of them all, Australian funnel webs. These guys will attack anything that gets too close, and the huge fangs on one
That's
particular
a real
species, the
funnel
Sydney
web.
funnel web, are so strong they can pierce leather. Meaning, yes, they can nip right through your shoes. So what happens if you do get bitten through your sick kicks? Well, the venom can cause extreme symptoms just minutes after entering the bloodstream. I'm talking vomiting, spasms, confusion, heart palpitations, and even brain swelling.
This is the only species of spider that I actually advocate as a real and present danger to humans. Um, all the rest of the species that are considered dangerous to humans, the danger they pose is freaking super overblown and overhyped. Due to the venom of this particular species, the habits that it has, and behaviors, I can only advise that these be avoided. So, of the animals on this list so far, this is one that I actually agree that this should be avoided at all costs.
Without swift treatment, Sydney funnel web bites can even be lethal. Yeesh. Australian native Ian Beard had a spine-chilling encounter with one of the spooky spiders in 2020. His drain needed to be cleaned out, so he took a small shovel and stuck his arm down it to dig up whatever was clogging it. Bit of a ballsy move, but apparently he'd done it hundreds of times before. That day, however, was different. Suddenly, he felt a sharp shooting pain on his finger and yanked his arm out, to be greeted by a horrifying sight. You guessed it, there was a funnel web spider on it. His wife immediately called an ambulance, which rushed Ian to hospital within 20 minutes. It's a good job, too. Although his condition was swiftly deteriorating, the antivenom was administered on time to save Ian's life. Damn. After the traumatic ordeal, a friend gave him some invaluable advice. Beardy, next time you're in the garden, put on some bloody gloves. Well said.
Yeah.
On that note, I think I've had about enough horrifying animals for one day. Which one made your skin crawl the most? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
All right, so that was BMA's horrifying animals you should avoid at all costs. What'd you guys think of that? Does it were these something to be avoided? Were these all horrifying to you? I didn't find most of them horrifying at all. Obviously, tapeworms aren't appealing to me, but everything else on this list, I'd have a hard time. Well, mosquitoes aren't appealing to me either, honestly, but they are delicious for my spider friends. So, I mean, having that. Blaster Master. I strongly disagree. Blaster Master says brown recluse are pretty aggressive. I've been chased across the room by them and dropped from stealing them. I grew up in a house from 1992 to I was going to say about 2004 with they had a brown recluse infestation the whole time I lived there. The whole time my whole family's lived there. No one's ever been bothered by them. I've actually caught them with ease and never had any trouble uh, catching them. If I see them, and in general, I don't even mess with them, but because they're just doing their brown recluse thing. But we've never had any problems with them. So I mean, that's my experience with them here in the Midwest. It was in Missouri, right in the middle of the Black Widow, or not Black Widow, the brown recluse range. So that's just my experience, though. Anyway, thank you for sticking around for SciFails, where we looked at some scary animals again. We will be back next week with something weird. But yeah, please remember to be kind. Take care. We'll see you next time.